Hi, I'm Vaughan Robison.
And I'm Kristina Robison.
And we are the owners of Grace Conservatory. Kristina has asked me today to tell you the story of how this studio began, and it's an important story to both of us because it's really the story of our family. You see, I met Kristina on a high school auditorium stage, and I had been back from Iraq for 2 weeks, and I was visiting my mother, who was a drama director. And that day I was very cloudy about quite a few things from a deployment, but I was very certain of 3 things. The first thing I was certain of is that I wanted to make Kristina my wife, and I had to do what I could to convince her that that was a good idea. The second thing was that based on the way she carried herself on that stage, that I knew that she would be a kind, patient, and loving mother and spouse, and that has certainly been true. And the final thing I knew is that no matter what I do or how hard I try at any individual task, I will never be as good at any one thing as Kristina is at teaching dance. And so we were engaged 3 months later, and I asked Kristina, where in the world do you want to go? I'm leaving the Army, we can move anywhere and make a living. And she said, New York or LA, I want to dance professionally. And so we moved to New York, and we lived there for 2 wonderful years, and it was formative both in her professional career and in our relationship. And after those 2 years were over, we decided that we wanted to have kids and move back south. And 3 kids and a couple of moves later, we found ourselves in Northeast Florida, here in this wonderful community in St. Johns County and in Nocatee. And we knew immediately that this is the kind of place that could sustain Kristina's lifelong dream of owning a studio. At 5 years old, she told her mother, I don't want to go to school, I don't need to, because one day I will be a dance teacher. And so here we are. We approached this business not as a business, but as the realization of a dream. And we also approached it as something that we would like to leave to our kids to someday take over. And so when you think that way, you want to infuse that business with your own personal family values, and I want to share a couple of those with you today. The first value is that kindness is more important than intelligence or beauty or any of those external or internal qualities that you can display in the world. And so that's played out in some interesting ways. We do some things that most businesses don't do. We don't charge late fees. We work with people who need any financial help to dance. We don't want to hold dance from anyone. That means that we will include 2-year-olds in diapers who have short attention spans, including our own, and that we will also be welcoming, open, and readily available to folks with disabilities or any other special needs, and make sure that we accommodate for them. The second value that we hold close to our hearts is that community is more important than the individual. And so in our family, that means that the whole family makes decisions together, and we work towards common goals. And in the studio, that means that we value performance over competition. And so as we perform, we hope that these students learn to work together towards common goals instead of individual goals, and that they achieve grace and beauty in unison. The third value that we hold close to our hearts is humility. We try to approach problems both with humility and prayerfully. And we know that we are not perfect. We have certainly learned that, and we have gotten some good feedback from parents and students. And so we have decided to become the first studio in this area to commit to not having a recital fee for the upcoming recital this spring. We value performance enough that we are willing to take a financial loss for a collective gain. And finally, we believe that if you are going to do something, you better do it well and to the glory of God. And so that means that we went out and we found a staff that was professional and kind. A staff that has danced professionally in New York, LA, Atlanta, Orlando, who have educations in dance. And then we've also asked that they get certified by a third-party independent dance organization. On top of that, they are CPR certified and have undergone background checks. That is a very high standard to set, but we believe that that high standard leads to great results. Our story is just beginning, both as a family and as an organization, and we thank you for being here for the first chapter. Thank you for being a part of the Grace Conservatory community.